So how do I, as a minimalist, debt-free, buzzword, thousandaire, because I'm not worth $1 million, but I have a few thousand, how do I budget in a month and what do I spend in a month? I'm going to go over my entire budget in this video. Keep in mind, I live with my wife and obviously, and we share the finances and everything. So there's 2 phones, 2 people need to eat, 2 people are using gas and electric, 2 people are using water, so on and so forth. So these numbers might seem a little bit bigger, but I can maybe narrow it down into what exactly I spend in a month, but you could basically just cut it in half and it's pretty fair for what we both spend individually. So to start, we're going to go over the phone bill, and the phone bill each month is $140. However, my mom pays 45 of that, so it's like 95 for my wife and I for the entire month. Next is the car gas. We have that budgeted at around $80 where we live in a more rural area. You just have to have car gas. That you have to be able to go from place to place to place. I've seen other videos from other YouTubers where they sold their car and they live without a car. We only have 1 car. It's worked for us to this point very well for I think it's worked for us for almost 8 or 9 months at this point. So I don't plan on us changing that anytime soon, but it doesn't really matter. We don't leave the house that much anyways. So we have it budgeted for basically filling up 1 time a week. That'll be a little bit more if we visit my wife's family, who's about 3.5 hours away from here, or it's a little bit less if we don't visit them, and it averages out to be about $80 a month. For food, we have budgeted $560. This is probably the part of my budget and the next one where I feel like we spend too much money. It's not so much where it's killing us. We can more than comfortably afford all of our bills, but I think we're bad with food. I mean, a budget of $140 for a 4-week month is probably just too much. Like, we probably don't need to eat out as many times as we do. I know I love getting Chipotle. I'm bad at that. That's something I'm really bad at, but it's just the way that it is, and I don't think I'm really ever going to change. My wife is a wonderful cook, but even when we do cook, I feel like we just like more expensive things. So whether it's like steak or filet mignon, whatever it may be, it's just a little bit more expensive. So that's just kind of the way that it is, but it comes out to be roughly $560 for the entire month. Obviously, it's a longer month, shorter month, but it averages out to be about $560 each and every month. The next one, and this is the one where most people are probably going to scoff a little bit, it's $1,550 for our rent. We live in a more expensive area, even though it's pretty rural, but basically the reason we are spending the kind of money that we're spending is because we're as close to family as we could basically get, and we really enjoy that. And my wife and I both work from home, so a simple 1-bedroom just isn't enough. We have to have basically a 3-bedroom, 1 for us to sleep in, 1 for me to film these videos and work in, and then 1 for her to work in because we both work from home. So we live in a 2-bedroom with a loft, but it's a 3-bedroom for all intents and purposes. It's more than what we would need if we weren't working from home, but we are working from home, and I'm not going to be sharing the same room, like a living room, with her working. It's just too much. I need my privacy. So I think this is a lot of money for us, $1,550. It's not more than 25% of our take-home pay. It's less than 25% of our take-home pay by enough where I'm comfortable with it. But the thing is that when you start really thinking about it, it's, man, if we were renting for $850 as opposed to $1,550, we'd be saving $700 a month. And you scale that out over the entire year, and that's $8,400 for the entire year. So yeah, obviously it's expensive, but we really enjoy the place we live in. We work from here, so I think for me, it's 100% worth it. I wouldn't change it. It's just kind of a lot of money. I guess I would change it if it could be cheaper, but the reality is that we got basically the best price for what we needed in the area we wanted. Next is car insurance. This is $76.12 a month. We pay every 6 months because you save a little bit of money on it. I don't know why you wouldn't do that. I don't understand the reason for not doing that. I think as long as you can afford it, you should definitely do it, and you should be able to afford like $500-600. So we do that every single 6 months. So this isn't really a monthly budget. It's just 1 month. All of it comes out. But it saves us, it's like $40 or $50 over the 6 months that we have the car insurance. So it's definitely worth it, I think. But $76.12. That's gone down significantly since we only have 1 car, which is really nice. Next is internet, and this has to be pretty quick. Again, we work from home, so this is $69.99. There's a package that was a little bit cheaper that was like $49.99, I believe. And then there's a package that was more expensive that was $89.99. We went for like the middle tier, and it's performed really well. I play video games with my friends sometimes, and I never had a problem with that. Uploading videos to YouTube, never had a problem with. Downloading stuff from the internet, never had a problem with it. And then obviously working, it works very well for us. Next on the budget is our gas bill. and electric. I sort of combine these because every place we've ever lived in, gas heated it and then electric cooled it. So this is really just like heating and cooling. Obviously, we cook stuff on the stove and that requires gas, but the vast majority of the gas that we're using is to heat the building that we're in. So this is $80 for gas at the moment and $50 for electric. It's normally around $130 to $150 each month to do both of those. I don't really know if that's cheap or expensive. It's basically just what it's always cost us. I like it. I like being at a comfortable temperature. So if this is more than what you spend, maybe I could cut a little bit, but we always wear sweatshirts inside, so maybe we're running it a little bit colder sometimes, but especially during the summers, I know that we'll have more expensive cooling bills just because we work from home and it can get pretty hot, so it's kind of nice to be cool. That's just maybe a creature comfort, a very first world issue, if I could say so myself. Next is the water bill. I think it's a flat 50 at the place we live at, or it averages out to be about $50. The water bill, all these like utilities, I know that it's going to be anywhere from $150 to $200. It's hard to really budget exactly because I'm not counting the amount of kilowatts that I'm using. I'm not like breaking it down by, okay, I charge my computer twice a day. So it's tough for me to guarantee, but all these numbers are basically the average of what they have been in the past. Sometimes it's a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, but about $50 a month on water. I pay for an Adobe subscription to edit these wonderful videos and to record the audio for these wonderful videos that you guys all enjoy so much. That costs me $32.16 a month. That I don't really consider into the budget per se, but it does come out of my account each month. I make more than that on these YouTube videos, not by very much at this point, but I do make a little bit more than that, so it does cover the video editing part of it, which is kind of nice, but it's kind of expensive. I mean, almost $33 a month to just edit videos. I wish I could just pay for it up front and own the product, but Adobe doesn't let you do that. So until I switch over to maybe editing on a Mac full time, which I don't really want to do, I like editing on my Windows computer, I think I'm pretty much stuck using Adobe. Next is the TV and streaming services that we pay for. Here comes my cat. My wife really enjoys Disney Plus. It's $7 a month, and then she pays for the Hallmark Channel, which is $4.99 a month. For me, the only streaming service I've ever really wanted to pay for would be Disney Plus, and the reason for that is The Mandalorian. I really like Star Wars, but that doesn't come on right now, so I don't need to have the Disney Plus subscription. And then I watch most of my content on YouTube or I listen to podcasts. So I really like free content. That's kind of the reason why, I don't know, maybe I'm a big advocate for no sponsors on my channel and none of that kind of stuff, because I enjoy like the interaction between the viewer and me, and I like that there's not like this company in between us where I can't say certain things because company A doesn't want me to say them. I'm sure companies, I'm not quite large enough to get not subscribers, but sponsorships, but I'm sure companies that had to do probably with finance would want to work with me, or maybe like some minimalist companies. But the problem is like, how can you preach a minimalist lifestyle and then slap them in the face with a sponsorship? It's like, don't buy stuff you don't need. And today's video is sponsored by a wallet that you don't need. So I think it's a little counterintuitive. So I personally am not a huge fan of that, but I do understand that some people need to make a living. That's fine. I like the free face-to-face interaction. I don't get mad if somebody has a sponsorship. I just think that it depends on sort of what they're preaching. If they're preaching minimalism and then start taking sponsorships, trying to sell you things, it gets a little sticky. And if I'm trying to preach a certain thing, I don't want to start taking sponsorships that directly disagree with what I'm preaching. Next would be my pets. We have 3 pets, the cat and the 2 dogs. Those are about $110 a month. That's actually not what it is, because one month I won't buy food, and then the next month I do buy food, and the next month I buy food, and then I have to take them to the vet. But I got the total values from the last year, and then I divided it by 12, and it comes out to $110. Sometimes there's deals on food, sometimes there's not deals on food. Whenever I can, I try and buy as much as I can. A store was going out of business that sells the dog food that my dogs eat. So I bought like $300 worth of it, or $150 worth of it. It was worth like $300 or $400. It was a crazy discount. So I bought as much as I could of it at the time. And that lasted them so long. So this number obviously fluctuates, but it's about $110 a month. That's what I have scheduled. And I'm never surprised when it goes more or less. I just know that for the entire year, I have budgeted about $1,300 for the dogs. It's expensive to have pets, obviously, but we enjoy them. I think it's not a great investment. I'd rather buy an iPhone. That's a better investment. No, but I obviously would pay anything to keep the dogs. Next is essentials. This is about $80 for my wife and I, whether this is shampoo, conditioner, toilet paper, paper towels, the things that you buy in the sections when you go to Target that are all right next to each other, or Walmart that are all right next to each other. That's the essentials. That's what I would consider them to be. It's about $80 a month. And then we pay $50 for a gym membership. And then finally, my wife and I have a membership to play golf at a course, and that's $300 a month. This is the one thing in my budget that I kind of always want to get rid of. It's $300 a month. It's pretty expensive. We play so much golf that it ends up being significantly cheaper as opposed to playing at just different courses throughout the year. It's expensive, and like right now we have to pay for this membership. So I enjoy it to a point. I think I kind of want to quit. If it were up to me, we probably would quit, but then we would do nothing fun. So this is like my $300 guilty pleasure that we spend to just enjoy ourselves. My wife and I love playing golf together, and we like hanging out. So that's probably the one thing I would get rid of out of this entire budget, and that brings our final total to $3,211. So that's for, obviously, me and my wife. The vast majority of that is the rent. I understand that. It's way more than probably we should be spending. And then obviously the golf course membership is $300. It's a lot of money, but again, at this point now that we're debt free, we can sort of afford to do these types of things. It doesn't really excuse making bad decisions. It's like, oh, I'm debt free, I can spend money on whatever I want. That's not really the case, but we're more than comfortable with the amount of money that we're spending because we're able to save my wife's entire income, and then my income basically pays for the entire month's worth of budget. In fact, we have a little bit extra of my income to save for the entire month. So it works out really nicely for the two of us. If I were to be single and I was doing this entire thing, I think it would basically be cut in half, and then there would be no golf membership. I would probably just find cheaper things to do by myself. But again, it's a couple you have to make. I love golf. I played golf my entire life, and with my wife, I think there are some concessions you have to make sometimes with finances because you can only be so cheap. So it's either $300 on the golf course or it's $300 going to Dave & Buster's, going on dates and doing certain things. It's worth it to me right now. When we start having kids, I probably will quit. I just, I don't really know about that. That's like the one thing that I think I definitely really struggle with each month, looking at that and having it come out of my account, because right now it's really cold and we can't play. So it's tough. I enjoy it enough to where I think I'm going to keep it, but I wouldn't be surprised if I redid this in a year and everything was completely the same except for that was just removed. So, but when you look at it, I mean, $3,200 for two people, we're living at about $1,600 a month. That's not too bad, especially with our incomes. I'm comfortable with it. Again, if I could cut something out, it would be the golf membership and then potentially lowering the rent. But it's good to look at these numbers. I have a very, very clear picture of all these numbers. I know exactly how much money is coming out, basically at what time it's coming out, and how much everything costs. So it's really good to have a budget and just be able to look at it and know sort of what's coming out, when it's coming out, how much of it's coming out, because you have to have a budget that you can afford. It's not like this budget, if I were to tell you what my budget was 2 years ago, it would probably be, with my wife and I combined at the time we were just dating, it would probably be somewhere in like the $42,000 to $5,000 price range, with just us spending lucrative money on nonsense. If you notice in here, there is no like excess spending budget, because the reality is we don't really have to do that. I mean, occasionally something pops up, but for the most part, we don't really have to excess spend. There isn't really anything to do. There's nothing to buy for the most part. Occasionally, there'll be clothing that we have to purchase, but that's something that I can't budget for clothing. I don't know when my jeans are going to rip. I don't know when my pants are going to get paint on them. I just don't know. I don't know when that stuff's going to happen, but I'm happy with this budget. I think doing a budget, the actual doing of the budget, I think is more important to just see where your money is going as opposed to see how much you're spending. And then once you realize, oh my goodness, my money's going 17 different directions, then I think when it comes down to it, you could start to say, okay, I could cut this out, I can cut that out, I can cut this out, I can cut that out. I need this is a necessity to me, and this is sort of how we got our budget to where it's at today. And I'm really proud of it. I think two people living on $1,600 a piece is very affordable. Obviously, I could cut this out and let's say we were living for $800 a month in rent and then we didn't pay to do anything fun. But again, we would end up spending that $300 on probably other activities that were total $300 or more. I could get it down to $2,100, but then at that point, what's the point of having the money and working as hard as we do and saving all this money? Like, you can't take it to your grave. So there has to be a point when you do choose to spend it. And I think we're doing it in a healthy way. I'm happy with the way that we're doing it, but I do think that there's, the golf membership is something that's really expensive and I like it, but at the same time, I could probably get rid of it without problem. So let me know what you guys think about my budget in the comment section down below. Is it as good or as bad as you thought it would be? I think I'm happy with it. I'm very proud of the money that my wife and I spend each month. I think that we're very tight with our budget. We don't go over this, and we're able to save a significant amount of money, and it's been really fun. Obviously, it helped us pay off $60,000 worth of debt, $30,000 worth of student loans. It's helped us get to the point that we're at now, and you do get to loosen the belt just a little bit when you pay off the debt. The golf membership is the loosening of the belt, and the more expensive apartment is the loosening of the belt for us. But maybe for you, it's buying the new laptop or buying the new camera or, whatever it may be, getting, I don't know, going to a salon. People do that. They go to salons. My wife cuts my hair and she gets a haircut like literally once every year. So these things for us, we just don't spend a lot of money on all of that other stuff. Like my wife doesn't wear any makeup. I don't wear any makeup, so we save money there. It's just cutting out the little things in life so that way you can enjoy the things that you can truly enjoy, that you truly want to enjoy. And I think that our budget is a real reflection of who we are as people. We love golf, but we also like living in a nice place, but we also don't really spend money. We don't drink, we don't go out, we don't party, we don't do any of that stuff. We don't do any of that stuff in our budget. So I think it's a really good reflection of who you are as a person, and it's a good reflection of who we are as people. And I think that everybody could learn a lot from just making their own budget and seeing where the heck is my money going each and every month. So thank you guys for watching the video. Again, this is number 4. I have 26 left to go. Hope you enjoy the videos and enjoy the content, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out. Again, let me know if you have any suggestions.